Good morning, everybody. And we are very pleased this morning to host a presentation, If Not for the Library, offered by Sue Considine, EPL's first 2014 Leader in Residence. Sue is the Executive Director of the Fayetteville Free Library, an ALA committee volunteer, a PhD candidate, and the recipient of several awards. I had the lovely pleasure of meeting Sue several years ago at the New York Public Library's Professional Development Day event, where we were both presenting, and was struck by her vision, her passion for libraries and library potential, and her contagious enthusiasm. And when Sue is not doing good things in libraries, she is busy being the proud mom of two avid hockey-playing sons. I had to talk about that Canadian connection that she has. So please join me in welcoming Sue Considine.
So hello, everybody. I can't see any of you. So if you make faces or get up because you can't stand it no more, I won't even know. So we're good. I'm not one of those magical people who can speak without my notes, so forgive me in advance for using them. So thank you, Pilar. I'm so happy to be here. I was thrilled when I was approached to come and speak with all of you. You have such incredible talent, such vision, and so many pioneers, and so much vitality right here in Edmonton. As I prepared to come and share today, I reached out to your own phenomenal Pilar to learn all about the great things that are happening here. I'd like to take a few minutes to shout out and highlight some of your excellence. If you hear your name, please stand up and be recognized. Okay. Pam Ryan, Andrew Nesbitt, Pilar, Sharon Siga, Peter Bailey, Angela Kublik. There you go. This is the Metro Edmonton Federation of Libraries, and your innovation is the Me Card service, which allows multi-library sharing, even if the libraries are using different library automation systems. Congratulations. Tamsin Shute, Elaine Jones, in partnership with Alberta Health Services. Are you here? This innovation is Welcome Baby in the Community. Edmonton Public Library provides Edmonton families and their infant children early literacy kits, distributed by Alberta Health Services at children's 2-month immunizations. Next, we have all of EPL, the EPL to go EPL literacy vans. EPL to go will put library service on wheels and take them to underserved areas of Edmonton. This is awesome, awesome innovation, and I think you should be writing about it and shouting it out everywhere. We need this in every urban area. And finally, we have Louise Reimer and Karen Chidiak and others. All of EPL, the innovation is the Great Stuff crew. Meet Diego, Jeremy, Nancy, Julie, Amanda, Jonathan, Jay, Lindy, Sean, and Mandy, who answered the casting call and successfully auditioned to be Great Stuff crew members. Are any of you here? Yes. Pilar tells me that, and to me this is even more exciting, while Great Stuff crew members are the face of EPL in promoting your great stuff, every staff member, frontline to administrative staff, plays a role in your content promotion initiative. So bravo. So congratulations to all of you innovators of EPL. While I was preparing for today, I stumbled across this essay included in EPL's guiding documents. I have to read it to you today to remind you of how inspiring you all are. Turning to one another. There is no greater power than a community discovering what it cares about. Ask what's possible, not what's wrong. Keep asking. Notice what you care about. Assume that many others share your dreams. Be brave enough to start a conversation that matters. Talk to people you know. Talk to people you don't know. Talk to people you never talk to. Be intrigued by the differences you hear. Expect to be surprised. Treasure curiosity more than certainty. Invite in everybody who cares to work on what's possible. Acknowledge that everyone is an expert about something. Know that creative solutions come from new connections. Remember, you don't fear people whose story you know. Real listening always brings people closer together. Trust that meaningful conversations can change your world. Rely on human goodness, stay together. This was Margaret J. Wheatley. This is in your guiding documents. Congratulations, EPL. It's very dry here in Alberta. Does anyone... So, I never tire of talking about our FFL, our team, and all the possibilities in our exciting, dynamic, ever-evolving field. It's never been a better time to be part of the public library future. Today, we will discuss innovation, empowerment, community, trust, and of course, making. The future is here. We're in this together. I hope what I prepared to share with you today interests, stirs up challenges, inspires you. I'll make all my notes available, and please, please, please come and say hello and get my contact card after the session if you'd like to connect after. So let's go. We, the FFL, like EPL, are passionate about serving and engaging the community. We understand and embrace the fact that the community drives and shapes our mission and agenda. Our mission statement sums up what we believe to be true, that by creating equal and open access for individuals to cutting-edge technology, unique and innovative learning opportunities, powerful ideas, and each other, community members have what they need to determine from their own perspective the value of the library and to ultimately make their own lives richer and better. Everything we do is about relationships. Everything. The library is the platform in the center of every community where people find that they have access to the tools, technologies, ideas, and content they need to transform their own lives. In order for the library to meet this goal of access, a culture of innovation, one that has high risk tolerance, that expects and learns from failure, and that is relatively flat, allowing leadership to be distributed at all levels, is critical. This internal structure allows for the development of entrepreneurship, invention, curiosity, conversation, and ultimately relationships that will become the framework for community transformation. Making has been happening in our library facility for over 100 years, as the original space served as a furniture factory. Oops. Since 2010, we've once again reimagined spaces within the facility to create a platform where the community can come together to not only passively consume information, but to create content and to make together. They share inspiration, discovery, and knowledge. The FFL is a leader in our community and has become notable in our industry as a leader and innovator. The FFL has been featured in articles, publications, and webinars as an example of what a public library can be when strong leadership, intuitive service, and risk-taking all align with community engagement at the forefront. The FFL supports the community's current needs by responding with user-driven, user-defined, custom-crafted services. For example, we were the first in our system to offer one-on-one, on-demand technology instruction, to circulate mobile devices preloaded with content, or to offer access to the 3M Cloud Library. Due to this forward-thinking worldview of library service, the FFL was uniquely positioned to respond when making in libraries became a topic of discussion and exploration. The FFL quickly embraced the idea of integrating disruptive, emerging technologies into our services, intuitively understanding that our mission is to create access to all things: space, content, technologies, and most importantly, to each other. We knew then that, if not for the library, this access and these experiences would not be possible in our community. With the launch of the FFL's labs, the Digital Media Creation Lab, the Fabrication Making Fab Lab, and most recently, the Little Makerspace, the FFL team has raised the bar for customized access to service and learning experiences. For example, groups and individuals can make a one-on-one appointment with an FFL team member to learn about 3D design software and printing, laser or vinyl cutting, sewing machines, and more. The FFL is the community's only point of access to this popular technology, equipment, and software. By participating in programs in our labs, patrons become certified. This impressive distinction is added to their patron card and account. All of our team members, both paid staff and community participants, which would be our volunteers, have the same knowledge base to execute training sessions in the labs. Community members find having access to this cutting-edge technology is exciting and empowering, and use it to come together to create, to make, and learn. Additional pioneering making that has developed from the inclusion of this technology are Maker Mondays, Take Apart Thursdays, and Fabulous Fridays. At the FFL, many offerings for elementary, middle school, and high school students focus on the development of STEAM skills: science, technology, engineering, art, and math. The FFL launched a first LEGO competitive robotics club in 2012. There they are down in the corner. 2 of our FFL librarians have become certified coaches, further demonstrating our team's commitment to the development and support of STEAM learning in our community. Our first time out at this international competition, the little community library of FFL's team won an honorable mention in the robotics competition, so we're quite proud. The FFL offers Creation Club and Creation Club Junior, where students use green screen technology, photo editing software, and can make podcasts and stop-motion videos, in addition to creating designs and printing them in 3D. Steampunk Club is a literature club where students read and discuss literature of the steampunk genre and then do science, executing hands-on experiments such as constructing mini hydro cars, solar trucks, and hot air balloons. Recently, we reallocated additional existing resources in order to support the teens' request for a Minecraft server and library logins. Our staff team are now officially heroes. Making has been a tremendously powerful catalyst for deeper, more meaningful community engagement. The social aspect of making, the relationships that have formed in all age groups as a result of creating access to interesting opportunities in the center of the community, has been the most striking and gratifying result, from my perspective, of our simple shift in service priorities from consumption to making. If not for the library, these relationships would not have developed because the people would not have met. This is community building in action. The Ffl Service Model includes multiple on-demand services. By offering one-on-one reserved appointments for patrons to meet with a team member, our staff can meet patrons' information needs when and how it works for them. This includes tech time appointments to ask any question really about anything, and the FFL Job and Career Resource and Assistance Center. An additional service option for patrons is purchase on demand. If a patron notices a long wait list for a title, or we do not own a popular ebook, staff members are empowered to purchase it. Download it to the circulating e-reader and check it out to the patron immediately, real time, no waiting. Also, as a result of adding this service, we can offer on-demand ILL, saving time, resources, and money when looking for materials outside of our system. Collaboration, relationships, and partnerships. The FFL collaborates and places a high priority on relationships and partnerships. We frequently speak locally, regionally, and nationally on innovation and leadership in public libraries, sharing experiences, successes, and opportunities with colleagues. The FFL holds several leadership positions within our regional council, the New York Library Association, and the American Library Association. In fact, the FFL had a team member presenting on every page of this year's New York Library Association annual conference program. We're like the Kim Kardashians of library services. We're a little overexposed. We've partnered with Syracuse University faculty, local businesses, and regional foundations to help build awareness, understanding, and a community of users for our makerspaces and services. We included both local businesses and community members in the development of the FFL Fab Lab concept in order to increase stakeholder and community participation. We systematically work to create conditions that allow for meaningful conversations to happen with our community members. Our goal is to understand what is important to the community, what individuals are passionate about, and what their aspirations and dreams are. Then we work to align the resources that we put on the platform that is our library in such a way that it supports information and knowledge exchange and creation between neighbors, no middleman required. Committed to investing in both our community and our profession, the FFL regularly reaches out to vendors to pilot products and services. The FFL was the first library in New York State to explore a relationship with 3M, and the first in New York State to introduce the 3M Cloud Library. This new development offered an additional access point to popular e-content and shortened the wait time for material at a critical point in the evolution of this library development. Pursuing these types of pilot projects is a regular activity at the FFL. Piloting puts pressure on vendors to evolve their services and products to better serve our patrons. Gaylord, 3M, Treehouse, Brainfuse, AWE, and Brodart are examples of vendors that regularly communicate with the FFL to discuss evolving library needs and challenges in order to develop opportunities for cost-effective contemporary library solutions. A popular community building event at the FFL is Library After Dark. This is a series of mini fundraisers offering a fun and entertaining evening of live music, trivia, or comedy to the public. The event includes free childcare for parents offered by teen volunteers. This way, the FFL is engaging the community to enjoy the library in a new and different way on their own terms, a fun, low-cost night out in the center of the community. The library serves drinks and appetizers for purchase. We do have to get a permit for the wine. And the proceeds benefit the library operating fund. Patrons discover or rediscover the library by attending this unique event. They come together around common interests and leave having learned about what the entire library has to offer and with a new understanding of how it's relevant to individuals, families, and the community, and, most importantly, how they can participate. If not for the library, this community building and relationship development would not happen. This is a lot of information coming up. So, why, you ask? Why innovation, making, and STEAM learning in libraries? Why? Well, the best example for understanding how STEAM and making are important and why the public library plays such a pivotal role is through an examination of technology. We use technology to access information, to communicate, and to entertain. Connecting with each other occurs through both physical, face-to-face means, as well as digitally through social media, cell phones, tablets, and computers. Every day, technology becomes more complex and more prevalent in our society. It requires some training to use initially, and as advances are made, new technologies require more skill or new skills to utilize effectively. Additional skills are necessary to manipulate, or most compelling, to change these technologies. As we are now, use of technology to connect with other people is shaped by the software and hardware that have been created for this purpose. Think of your cell phone. You can use an app to call someone, you can use another app to send a text message, and use a third app to take and send photos or videos. But what if you want to interact with someone outside of these boundaries? If a programmer has not yet created an app that meets this need, you simply can't do it. In order to take control of our own conversations and interactions, it's becoming necessary that we all learn how to write and rewrite the boundaries of technologies so that we can interact with the world in the way that we want to, without being bound by the ways that have already been created. Our growth as individuals and members of society is limited to what already is if we're not given the opportunity to learn how to imagine and create what isn't yet. As information needs change, our means of providing access to information also changes. As public libraries, we are uniquely suited to offer this opportunity to our community. By providing access to learning opportunities, whether it's through a class, a lecture, an author Skype, a technology one-on-one, hands-on activities in a makerspace, clubs and programs that provide a platform for hands-on science experimentation, video-guided learning through a Lynda subscription, or hands-on project-based learning through Treehouse, we, the FFL, provide access to space, resources, and training required to bring people together who have and who seek knowledge. This is the hoped-for outcome: discovery, learning, connectedness, and knowledge acquisition and creation. Where in the community, if not for the library, is this lifelong, cross-generational learning and discovery likely to occur? An excellent example of the FFL's leadership in creating conditions to share knowledge for the betterment of our community, professionals, and patrons is the Common Core Learning Day, which we developed and hosted in 2013. Public libraries have a responsibility to be the best possible resource for teachers, students, families, and the larger community. The FFL proactively worked to internally become informed about the new Common Core standards in the U.S. and how the public library collection, spaces, technologies, and services could help support and ensure student achievement in light of these new educational standards. Although we are not our system's central library and we are not teachers, we cannot wait. It's our job to be ahead of the trends and the curve, and it's our responsibility to share what we know and to provide an avenue for others to share what they know with our peers. So how do we do all of this? How do we afford it? What do we need to redefine, retool, reimagine, give up, and change to make these opportunities available in our communities? The public library is essential to the success of your community. We are unwilling to wait to be invited to the table or to the discussion. Rather, we commit to convening the important discussions, identifying the priorities, creating space for dialogue and understanding, and ultimately, we commit to action and change. The most important question we need to ask ourselves every day is, what do we stop doing? Challenge your assumptions about core services, spaces, what libraries do, what librarians do. Reallocate existing resources. Continually assess your space. Keep asking, why do we do what we do? Allow yourselves to take risks, to have the flexibility to do the next thing, the right thing for your community today. In 2011, through a simple investigation into an assessment of local database usage, the FFL team was able to benchmark best practices of other libraries that were offering comparable, authoritative, free information to their patrons. We executed staff training for our team to understand and leverage these free resources, and ultimately we found $46,000 that we reallocated immediately to e-content and STEAM programming opportunities. Now, I understand your structure is markedly different from ours, the way that we're chartered in the US, but I thought that a little bit about our story might be informative. In 2010, the FFL completed a 5-year plan to streamline our funding model by eliminating any direct appropriation ask of any municipality, allowing for 97% of the FFL operating budget to be voted on directly by the community. In 2005, we understood that municipal funds would continue to shrink, competition for dollars would only become more fierce, and ultimately, municipal dollars would no longer be a sustainable source to budget against. Since completing our 5-year plan in 2010, the FFL has not requested less than a 6% annual increase from our voters. We've never received less than a 70% popular positive response. As any good business, we've worked with our community to identify their priorities and needs. We've developed and grown our facilities, services, and plan to support the community's needs today. Beginning in 2009, we understood that we had to work harder than ever to identify opportunities for supplemental funding in addition to essential tax support. We reimagined an existing space within the library, pursued New York State construction grant funds, and developed Cafe 300 at the FFL. Today, this cafe brings in over $3,000 a month to support FFL operations. In addition, we reconsidered how we handled donated material. We transformed a model that included one annual sale and returns of approximately $10,000 to 2 major sales a year, monthly event-based sales, and an ongoing sale in the main service area of the library. And as a result, we now generate over $40,000 in revenue from donated material annually. Finally, the FFL holds several event-based fundraisers throughout the year. The FFL reaches out into the local business community to sponsor and to participate with these events. Through these partnerships, our local businesses make direct contact with their potential customers and current customers, and the FFL recognizes their generosity and their community spirit through multiple venues, including banners, our popular website, e-newsletter, etc. The FFL has successfully applied for and received state construction funding 5 times since 2003. The FFL has reached out and developed and nurtured relationships and has successfully received support from all notable foundations in our region. In 2009, the FFL was the grateful recipient of a $500,000 federal grant secured through the effort of a former congressman, and the FFL has been a beneficiary of the support of several state legislative representatives. I keep a copy of this motivating Faulkner quote in a small frame on my desk, always in view. It, in many ways, is a constant reminder to be true to myself and be exactly who I am in all things, in all situations, even when it's the hardest thing to do. In both of my personal and professional journeys, I've always been the member of the family or the team who has pushed the limits, poked the box, taken the risks, asked the uncomfortable questions, and has never been satisfied with the status quo. As a public library director, this fearlessness and restlessness has allowed me to develop and to grow one of the most cutting-edge suburban libraries in New York State, and without question, one of the most enthusiastic, talented, creative team of staff and community participants committed to nothing less than excellence in all aspects of public service, community education, and engagement. I have an awesome team. Public librarianship has been a perfect fit for my curious mind and my sense of the meaning of liberty. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines liberty as, among other things, the quality or state of being free, the power to do as one pleases, the power of choice. Where is the notion of liberty better exemplified and upheld than in the public library? The public library is a powerful equalizer. Free and open access to information, spaces, technology, learning, and to each other is the pathway to discovery, to connectedness, and ultimately to powerful transformation for individuals and communities. The public library elegantly, simply offers a level playing field. This field is universal home turf, accessible to all. No uniform or credentials required. Your easily acquired and free, in most cases, library card is your key to the limitless kingdom. This is profound and beautiful, and when done right, an essential element in every life, in every community. So my title at the FFL is Executive Director, but my role is Facilitator. My team understands that it is not my role or intention to manage or supervise their work, their time, or their lives. My role is to be this talented team's best resource. Whether it's time, money, space, feedback, support, my job is to be ready to make these resources available to the doers on the team when creativity sparks and great ideas arise, and then most importantly, to get out of their way. My greatest leadership success is our recruiting, training, and development staff model. In 2001, I had 3 librarians, a handful of part-time support staff, a very small budget, and great big ideas. And we were in a little tiny place too. We're not anymore. Clearly, the immediate challenge was to build a team, find the most creative, tenacious, resilient risk takers, and set them to the task of executing the promise we made to the community. The Syracuse University iSchool is on the public bus route to the FFL. It's well known to attract and to produce high caliber students. I began to nurture a relationship with the Syracuse University iSchool faculty by pursuing every opportunity to get in front of them and their introductory classes to talk about librarianship and the FFL. I flooded the students' information centers with solicitations for credit interns and for paid public service positions. I in turn utilized the remitted tuition credits earned by the FFL as incentive for these student team members. I set a goal to staff the front desk with only SU MLIS students within 2 years and to create leadership positions within the FFL for these team members upon graduation. I also personally committed to the students upon hiring them that I would be their partner in their network building and job searching as they prepared to graduate. I began to develop job descriptions around the skill sets and talents of the team. I developed weekly reporting and monthly meeting opportunities between myself and every member of the team to keep communications current and strong and to be available to provide the resources needed for quick and red tape-free execution of innovative, powerful ideas that began to develop at all levels in the organization. It is really dry in here. Excuse me. I love this image. Isn't that cool? I love that sense of togetherness. As the staff began to grow, I did not pursue the usual hierarchical structure of many public libraries. I did the exact opposite. I flattened, like a pancake, the organization to 2 levels, professionals and support staff. I developed staff forums, not reporting meetings, and I resisted committees, but open forums where all staff is invited and the only requirement to attend is your promise to participate. All staff is assigned big idea notebooks and all are required to write down every idea, big or small, ridiculous, dangerous, or mundane, and bring it forth in the forums for the team to throw around, evaluate, prioritize, and then to move forward. Titles, egos, and attitudes are left at the door. For this type of true collaboration, teamwork, to be successful, it must be an organizational priority to create, schedule, budget, the time and space that allows people to think together. It requires a letting go of controls and limits. It requires a culture that is safe to take big risks and to think freely. It requires trust at all levels. I now have the pleasure of working with a team of over 47 people, 18 full-time, all but 1 librarian who began their time at the FFL as a student support staff member. These talented, mobile people chose to stay in Syracuse, to buy homes, start families, and work at the FFL in Central New York. Our economic impact at our corner of the world is significant. Today, every member of the support staff team is a student. Our community is provided direct service by the best and brightest SU has to offer every day. In addition, understanding that the MLIS may not prepare us with all of the skill sets, competencies, and knowledge areas necessary to support, really it's true and we can talk about it, to support the ever-changing complex needs of our communities of users. I've added several non-MLIS professional salaried positions to the FFL, including a teacher who is our technology integration specialist and instruction specialist. This person teaches us as librarians how to teach. A full-time director of marketing and community relations, an IT administrator, and a community participant volunteer coordinator, none of whom have their MLIS. Our volunteers are a battalion of over 70 members strong who are scheduled and treated like staff and who are responsible for substantially impactful work that supports and enhances the paid staff's direct service to patrons every day. In addition, our community participants bring their interests, skills, and passions directly to the community in the form of programming, special events, training, instruction, and more. We provide the platform and access necessary to allow neighbors to share knowledge directly with each other. It's a model that works for us. It's an extraordinary honor to be part of this team and this community's fabric and story. I find that I am impatient with our failure as an industry to recognize our broken system of assessment and evaluation reporting. We wrongly try to improve on outdated measures rather than completely overhaul them. We really struggle trying to help people to understand our value and our impact. And we're living it every day, and we know what it is, but we have a really hard time sharing that information effectively. And it has a lot to do with the information that we're sharing. This presents tremendous difficulty when we, as public libraries, attempt to report value, impact, our outcomes to our stakeholders. In recent years, due to the US economic downturn, consolidations, and the failure to thrive syndrome of so many US not-for-profits, we spend a lot of time talking about proving our relevance. I prefer to be relevant. As our brilliant colleague, Dr. Dave Lankies of Syracuse University suggests, we, our communities, our funders, our stakeholders should all expect more. Public libraries are more relevant than ever in this time of economic struggle in the US and equally powerful technology and social media advancement. As we as an industry continue to embrace community engagement, we will be engaging with our communities more fully to chart our course and path. In order to be successful, we need to acknowledge and be prepared to challenge everything we think we know. Our roles, our structures, our mindsets, our assumptions, and our attitudes, and most importantly, our measures. We need to get out of our own way. We should focus on outcomes, impact in our communities and on individual lives every day. Jobs and career support, STEAM learning programming, curriculum support, early literacy innovations, kindergarten readiness, community education, technology training and access, community collaboration, and content creation and fabrication. These outcomes are relevant. These outcomes have real meaning outside of our industry, in our communities, with our neighbors. These outcomes are the relevant evidence of the transformational power of public libraries. We are public libraries. Let's lift each other up. Let's create the conditions that allow us to succeed. Let's celebrate and recreate each other's successes in our own communities, and let's be a team. Thank you. I hope I can answer some questions. I'm going to come out here so I can see you. I hope, oh, I can't do that. Come over here. I'll come down here. Yes.
Hi, Sue.
Hi.
It looks like you have a really great space, that big open space with the orange steel girders. What was that before, or was that something you cleared out for this making space?
When I first came on board, can you all hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
When I came on board with the Fayetteville Free Library, I was recruited to move us out of a house. Out of a house. A population of about 15,000, but we serve so much more. But at that time, we were in a house. When I was shown what was to be my office, it was a bathroom. The hole still there in the floor where the toilet had once been. So the community's aspiration at that time was to locate a new facility or to acquire a new facility in order to grow contemporary library services for this large community. So there's the Stickley Furniture Factory had been there in the center of the village of Fayetteville for over 100 years, and it had been empty since the 1980s. 64,000 square feet of empty, as compared to the 4,500 square foot house we were in prior. So I went on a campaign over my first 2 or 3 years at the FFL with the support of my awesome board and with the very involved, very interested community. Sat in a lot of living rooms, drinking a lot of tea, talking about what's valuable in our community. What do we value? Well, we value education. We value relationships. We value family. How can we find an opportunity together to expand our opportunities for connectedness and for learning and for experimentation and all of the things that we couldn't do in that little house on Main Street. So we bought that 64,000 square feet of stick wood furniture factory. We were able to do that without going out into our operating budget. We did it through a local campaign and also through targeted grant writing, foundations, businesses, and local and state government. So we were able to acquire that facility, and 6 phases of facility development. All these years later, we have occupied the entire 64,000 square feet. And the staff grew from 6 to 47. And in addition, our philosophy is the community is full of experts. Every community really has what it needs in the community. Our job and what we do best is finding ways to identify that expertise, engage that expertise, and then put it on the platform so that neighbors can share knowledge and create new knowledge together. So that's what we do in our big furniture factory.
Can you communicate a little bit more specifically about how you share impact and outcomes to your funders?
But we don't do it well.
We don't, no. And so I would love to learn about how you do it well.
Well, we're still not doing it well. But the most important thing for us to do in our field is to recognize that we stink at this. And to recognize that by being so bad at communicating our value, we're in our own way. One of the things that we do in the States, and I don't know if this happens here, but we have regional, state, and federal advocacy days where we go in force and sit with our representatives and talk to them about why they should fund libraries. And we tell them stories, and they tell us how they loved their library when they were a child. And then they cut us. We're always the first one cut. We're not seen as essential. We're not seen as high impact and as high relevance as other service industries in our communities, and we're not telling the right stories. The stories that we need to be telling must be backed up by data, and the data that we're collecting is the wrong data. They don't care how many people walk through our gate. It doesn't matter to them how many nonfiction titles we circulated. What matters to them is how many jobs we helped people to get. How many people acquired new technology and advanced technology skills by attending the library. How many families had children who were ready for school after attending early literacy programs at the library. Those are the stories with the accompanying data that's necessary for us to be pushing forward. So we need to do it. We need to commit to the fact that we don't do this well, we're telling the wrong stories, and we need to work with our associations and our organizations to help them develop a new paradigm and a new model for that sharing.
Can you say a little more about what non-MLIS professions or skills you think are useful in a public library?
Yes, I can, if it's safe. I'm throwing it in. Marketing. Marketing. We need people who know how to package our message, where to send our message out, and then how to follow up to keep that awareness building going. That's essential. We need people who are teachers, people who are skilled in instruction, because more than ever, we're becoming community educators, aren't we? More than information navigators, which we've been in the past, and we still are, most certainly. But don't we provide so much more instruction today? If somebody gets their new iPad or their new cell phone or their new whatever, where are they going first when they have a question? Where are they going? Are they coming to you? They're coming to you. They're not going to Apple. They're not paying for a class to learn how to manipulate their iPad. They're coming to the public library because, you know what, if I go to the public library, I'll get what I need. So in terms of instruction, I think, and I can only speak for myself and my team, we didn't get that when we were working on MLIS. We didn't get that kind of immersive experience in learning how to design curriculum and then to deliver that material. So I think Teachers, those who are skilled at instruction, are necessary to have on the team, both to train the staff and also to deliver that content to our community. So those would be my top two. Finance people, business, people who know about the money, we need those two. Yes?
You spoke about curriculum support and new standards that could promote around education. Can you speak to what kinds of changes you made in your services or programs to kind of complement that work?
Yes. The Common Core Learning Standards, is anybody familiar with those? Are you familiar with those? They were rapidly developed and then launched ineffectively. And everyone's worried and no one's ready. But they launched them anyways, kind of like Obamacare. So no one was ready, and we didn't know how to be that best resource in public libraries, how to be that best resource for families and students and teachers, etc., to be able to best support them as they strive to meet these new standards. But as public libraries, through our collections and through our programs and services, we were able, by doing a very intensive examination of these new standards, we were able to identify that our collections needed to become stronger in the areas of nonfiction for children and teens and adults, and that in our programming, it would be beneficial in off-school hours to incorporate writing labs and creative writing opportunities into the services that we provide for our community. We also determined that it would be essential for us to be working with caregivers and grandparents and others who are raising our community's children to help them gain some skills and some confidence in helping the children that they're responsible for in getting ready for school. And we do that through kits and programming and videos on our website that you can watch at home and those types of things. So through our collections and through our programming, making some adjustments and aligning the allocation of resources more closely with what these standards require. Our hope and our goal is that we can help our families continue to succeed. Well, thank you so much for having me here. It's been a pleasure.
What an inspirational talk. I think it's no surprise that Fayetteville Public Library is a leading public library in New York State, but also in the United States and North America. So under your leadership and vision, it's no surprise, Sue.
Thank you.
I definitely can visualize that Faulkner code sitting on your computer as a model getting out of your way. Yes. So thanks so much. We're looking forward to you for the next 2 days.